Hey y'all, back with another video. I decided to come share this information that I received through my app that tells me about my SNAP benefits, okay? And I received this the other day, and every time I open up this app, this pops up. It says, are there cuts to the SNAP? What the big beautiful bill means for food stamps. So I'm going to read it to you. Some of you may have gotten it too in your app. The app I got it in is called Propel, Propel, okay? If you're reading this from YouTube, if you've seen this video from YouTube, if you go to my community post, I put the link that's going to take you right to this, what I'm about to read to you, okay? Again, are there cuts to SNAP? What the big beautiful bill means for food stamps. Key takeaways. The big beautiful bill become law on July the 4th, 2025, bringing significant changes to SNAP. Here's what could change for you. New work requirements. Parents with kids 14 and older, adults ages 55 through 64, people who are homeless, veterans, and foster youth now have to prove they meet work requirements or risk losing benefits. It's not clear yet if this will happen automatically or during recertification. We'll keep you updated and help you figure out what you need to submit. Utility allowances. States used to use a standard estimate for household utility costs. Now that only applies to households with elderly or disabled members. Everyone else must show actual utility bills, which may lower your benefit amount, okay? These changes technically go into effect immediately, but states will need time to implement them. Important, if an adult loses their SNAP benefits because of these new changes, their kids may not. The household amount will go down, but benefits may not be cut entirely. Yes, legislation passed in Congress on July the 3rd, 2025, meaning cuts to SNAP, which over time could lead to many Americans losing access to SNAP or having their food stamps reduced. You may have heard this legislation called the Big Beautiful Bill or the Reconciliation Bill. If you're one of the roughly 42 million Americans who receive monthly SNAP benefits, also called food stamps, you will likely face some changes to the program, which could include new requirements for SNAP eligibility. And people who don't meet the updated requirement risk losing some or all of their monthly benefits. But the changes don't go into effect right away. Some will not take effect for several years. For now, keep using your SNAP benefits as usual. The Propel app can help you stay updated on any benefit news, including deposit amounts and schedules. How will the big beautiful bill change SNAP? Stricter work requirements. The bill extends SNAP work requirements to more Americans than ever before. More people will need to work or volunteer at least 20 hours a week or participate in training programs to keep their benefits. And many people who were previously exempt from work requirements will now have to show they meet them or risk losing their SNAP benefits. States pay more. Starting in fiscal year 2028, states may be required to pay a portion of food benefit costs for the first time in SNAP's history. Previously, states only paid administrative costs, not the actual food benefits. If the cost burden shifts more onto states, that could affect how benefits are administered in the future. Limitations on future benefit increases. The bill restricts future updates to the Thrifty Food Plan, which determines how much money people get in SNAP benefits. This means SNAP benefits may increase by less over time. Utility allowance cuts. About 600,000 low-income households may lose some of their monthly SNAP benefit amount because of changes in how utility expenses are calculated. Changes to immigrant eligibility. The bill limits SNAP eligibility to U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents. Previously, certain immigrant groups like refugees, people seeking asylum, survivors of domestic violence, and victims of trafficking who haven't been permanent residents were eligible for benefits. What are the new work requirements for SNAP? The bill will dramatically expand the rules about who must work requirements to keep their SNAP benefits, which may mean that once these rules go into effect, you'll need to prove you meet the updated work requirements or lose your benefits. Here's what's changing with SNAP work requirements. New age limits. Able-bodied adults ages 55 through 64 without dependent children and parents of children 14 and older must now work at least 20 hours per week or participate in training programs. Before this only applied to people up to the age of 54. Roughly 900,000 adults in this age group would be affected. Parents with teenage children, parents with those youngest dependent child that's 14 or older must now meet work requirements. Although kids will keep getting benefits, even if their caretaker lose them, the kids will still get them. Veterans and vulnerable groups. Veterans, people experiencing homelessness, and former foster youth must now meet work requirements. About 270,000 people in these groups will be affected. Harder to get waivers. States can only waive work requirements in areas where unemployment is above 10%. This makes it much harder for states to help people who can't find work. About 1.1 million people live in high unemployment areas that wouldn't qualify for waivers under these new rules. If you don't meet these work requirements, you can only get SNAP benefits for 3 months in a 3-year period. Over 5 million, roughly 1 in 8 SNAP recipients, including 800,000 children and more than 500,000 adults who are 65 or older or have disabilities, live in households that face the risk of losing some or all full assistance due to these work requirement expansions. How big are the SNAP cuts? These bill cuts, federally funded for SNAP by $186 billion through 2034, according to the Congressional Budget Office. This is the largest cut to food assistance in history. The cuts could even be bigger if states decide to reduce or change their SNAP program rather than pay the new cost. So I guess what they're saying when it comes to that, if the state feel like that's too much, then we really going to be messed up because they're going to take it down lower than what it is because they don't want to pay. But how much your monthly benefit amounts will be affected will vary depending on your situation, and in the immediate future, your benefits will continue to arrive as usual. Work requirements impact. If someone in your household loses SNAP due to work requirements, your family benefits could change significantly. For instance, a single mother with one child who loses benefits for herself would see their food assistance drop from the maximum $536 monthly to $292 monthly. Utility allowance cuts. About 600,000 households would lose some of their monthly food benefits amount because of changes in utility expense calculations. Essentially, more households will have to submit their actual utility bills instead of relying on a standard estimate of utility costs, which means their deposit amounts may go down. Reduction of future increase. New rules limit how much SNAP benefits amounts can be increased, even when food costs rise. When will these changes to SNAP happen? If you currently receive SNAP benefits, they are unlikely to change immediately. Expect your deposits to continue as usual for now. The bill passed in July, but changes to SNAP will happen at different times. New work requirements and utility allowance cuts could go into effect right away, but states will need time to update their systems. Other changes will be phased in over the next few years. Is Medicaid also getting cut because of the big beautiful bill? Yes, the bill cuts health care programs, particularly Medicaid, which could affect your access to health care. There are also new work requirements for Medicaid, which, just like the SNAP work requirements, could mean a harder time qualifying for keeping your Medicaid benefits. According to the Congressional Budget Office, an additional 11.8 million people could be uninsured by 2034 because of this legislation. Yeah, you heard it. Get in the comments, tell me what you think.